I knew something was wrong the moment I heard her laugh through the door. Soft, nervous, the kind she used when she wanted to impress someone. Not me. I hadn't heard that version of her in months. And that was the moment my heart dropped, because I had come here only to prove to myself that I was paranoid. But when I pressed my ear against the hotel room door and heard her whisper, "Don't worry, he won't find out," something inside me cracked so hard I swear the hallway echoed with it. I didn't plan to kick the door. My foot just moved, and when it flew open, she was on her knees. Not praying, not picking something up, not having a work meeting. Just betrayal in its rawest, ugliest form. She froze first. Then he did. Then I did. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stared because my brain couldn't catch up with what my eyes were seeing. Months earlier, if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have told you my wife Amara was the most loyal person on earth. She used to hold my arm when we crossed streets. She used to put her feet on my lap while watching movies. She used to text me every lunch break. Then everything changed, so slowly I didn't notice it until it was too late. It started with her phone always face down. Then came the unanswered calls during late meetings. Then the sudden gym membership she guarded like a national secret. And the perfume, God, that perfume. I didn't even know its name, but I knew it wasn't mine. Whenever I asked, she'd sigh dramatically like I was the problem. "You're being insecure," she'd say. "Stop overthinking," she'd say. "It's just work stuff," she'd say. And I believed her. Not because she was convincing, because I loved her enough to feel ashamed of doubting her. The message that broke me. On the night everything fell apart, she left our house wearing a blazer she hadn't worn in years. She kissed me quickly. The kind of kiss someone gives out of obligation. Hours later, I went to grab a charger from her drawer and found her old work tablet inside. It wasn't even locked. A message was glowing on the screen. "Same room as last time. Can't wait." My stomach flipped so hard I had to sit on the floor. The sender's name? Daniel HR. The same Daniel she once said was annoying and married. I don't know what possessed me. Rage, fear, maybe self-respect. I grabbed my keys, jumped in the car, and drove like someone chasing a ghost. Back to the hotel door. I stood there staring at them as they scrambled like rats caught under a light. She pulled up her blouse, face pale, hands shaking. He zipped up and muttered something useless like, "Man, listen." I didn't listen. I walked inside, closed the door behind me, and leaned against it because my legs felt like paper. "Amara," I said quietly. "Just tell me the truth." She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Her eyes were red, but I knew those weren't tears of guilt. They were tears of being caught. "You weren't supposed to be here," she whispered. That one sentence told me everything I needed to know. Not "I'm sorry." Not "it's not what it looks like." Just "you weren't supposed to be here." I nodded slowly, feeling something inside me die. "Get out," I told Daniel. He grabbed his jacket and ran out like a coward. The part that hurt most. She tried to touch my arm and I flinched. Not out of anger, out of grief. Grief that the same hand that once felt like home now felt contaminated. "Please," she whispered. "Let me explain." "You had months to explain," I said. "I asked you again and again. You just lied better each time." She sank onto the edge of the bed. The same bed she was cheating in, covering her face. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said. "I felt lonely. You were busy. Work was stressful." He understood me. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was the kind of stupidity that deserved disbelief. "So you cheated because of stress?" She didn't answer. "Do you know what hurts?" I said. "Not that you cheated, but that you let me believe it was my insecurity. You made me feel crazy for noticing what you were doing." Her shoulders shook. Maybe she was crying. Maybe pretending. I didn't care anymore. My quiet revenge. I didn't break things. I didn't scream. People think revenge is loud. Mine wasn't. Mine began the moment I walked out of that hotel room. I went home, opened the laptop we shared, and gathered every screenshot, every bank statement, every late-night message I could find. Not to ruin her life, just to protect mine. The next morning, while she slept at her sister's house, I visited a lawyer. "You're surprisingly calm," he said. "I spent all my tears last night," I told him. We filed everything the same day. I didn't even block her. I wanted her to see each notification as it arrived. The divorce papers. The frozen joint account. The lease transfer request. The removal of her from my insurance. Every ping on her phone was a piece of me letting go. When she finally broke. She came home 2 days later with swollen eyes and trembling hands. "Please," she said. "Don't end us like this. I made a mistake." "No," I said softly. "You made a choice." She sank to the floor, crying into her hands. "You're throwing away 5 years," she whispered. "You threw them away first." There was nothing left to discuss. The final line I gave her. When I reached the door, she grabbed my wrist. "Will you ever forgive me?" I looked at her. At the woman I once trusted with all the fragile, unguarded parts of my heart. "Maybe," I said. "But not in a way that will ever bring me back." And then I walked out. I thought the ending would destroy me. But as I stepped into the cool air outside, I felt something strange. Something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. Not because I won, but because I survived her.